Some of us are just way too interesting, and that is okay. I've always been the type who gets bored pretty easily. As a writer living in Washington, D.C., that was a huge challenge for me because the boss would always expect me to stay at my desk in some cold, dark corner of the office while writing my scripts or op-eds or whatever I was writing. And I'd always get so bored that I'd either end up inadvertently causing trouble at the office wherever I worked because I needed some kind of stimulation, or I'd get really depressed and not be able to get out of bed in the morning, let alone do any of my work. House hacking was great for me because it was a way for me to channel my energy and my intelligence into something that actually gave me freedom and made me some money. And it was stressful as all hell, but honestly, it was a step up from being bored and depressed. But what if you don't have to choose between being stressed out and being bored out of your mind? What if there was a formula for being able to choose the things that you enjoyed without getting bored of them right away? Well, there is. And as much as we want it to be, the formula is not suck it up, buttercup. Suck it up, buttercup is good for discipline when you want something to get done, bare bones, don't care how it's done. But when it comes to your psychology and boredom, the suck it up, buttercup mentality can be really venomous. The only way to get yourself out of boredom is to find a way to let your mind explore. Some people will do it by picking fights with other people without realizing it, or by creating chaos and problems that don't need to be there. But if you can recognize what's happening in advance and are proactive about it, you can opt into healthier ways to stimulate your brain and allow your mind to wander without feeling like you're losing control. Usually, the feeling of losing control over your emotions is the result of an emotional need that you had that you either ignored or didn't realize that you had because you were just too busy focusing on other more practical needs. For example, rage is one of them. Rage is usually the result of negative feelings that you had that you kept pushing under the rug for various reasons until it exploded in your head. If you're feeling bored and you're already finding yourself picking fights with other people, creating chaos, or even getting a little bit depressed and antsy, your brain is probably telling you that it needs more stimulation in an area of your brain that's lacking it. Every activity contributes to your brain being fed, whether it's remodeling your bathroom, running, playing a musical instrument, painting, editing videos, accounting, having a conversation, or even doing absolutely nothing and simply allowing your mind to wander. But sometimes you've reached a limit with certain activities, and for all of us, that limit might come at a different time. Personally, my limit comes very quickly for almost every activity. I will literally get bored of sleeping. And once that limit comes, it becomes virtually impossible to force myself to keep doing that thing. And I end up spending sometimes hours just having an internal battle where I'm trying to force my brain to engage in something, and then my brain is resisting, and I end up feeling frustrated and not even getting that thing done in the first place. Things have been changing for me quite a bit when I started treating my brain more like water, and instead of forcing it to direct energy to the things that I want it to focus on this second, instead to switch it up as soon as I notice that the productivity level in that area is decreasing in that specific activity. I would highly encourage you to start doing that too. Stop trying to force your mind to do the same things that everybody around you is doing or telling you to do. You're different, your brain is different, and its needs are different. You have got to start moving around your brain like water instead of forcing it to do things for you that you think it should be doing. If your day job requires you to engage in a certain activity for 8 hours a day, but you get bored and unmotivated, you're going to have to keep experimenting with different side activities and side hustles, even at work, until you start feeling satisfied. Keep experimenting with all kinds of activities at work, jumping jacks in place, learning a new language or musical instrument, reading a book, thinking about certain topics such as politics or making money, or texting your friends or a love interest. Depending on what seems to satisfy your boredom, that's how you'll discover what your brain is missing. That's how you'll get to know yourself. It could be that multiple things end up satisfying you instead of just one thing. Maybe your subconscious is feeling financially unstable or unsettled with your future in a certain country, and maybe that's why you keep obsessing about politics or money. Maybe you just needed a boost of physical activity activity to increase your energy and serotonin levels. Maybe your work isn't challenging enough on a skill level, and you just need a hard skill like learning a language or a musical instrument to tide you over. Maybe you just need to feel needed, and volunteering at a hospital on the side is your thing. And maybe it's all of the above. Whatever you end up doing, do not get stuck in the mindset of there's something wrong with me. I'm always going to be bored or depressed or passionless, and therefore I shouldn't even bother. It's okay and important to rest up and give yourself time to figure yourself out. But also remember that just because you haven't found something that interests you, it doesn't mean that you won't ever find it. You have a lifetime to figure this stuff out. And sometimes people never do because they never even bother and they never go all in with it, trying to get to know themselves. Humans are interesting and complex. Given the right tools, we are all capable of living a life of happiness and passion and fulfillment. The only people who might not end up getting there are those that refuse to believe it. So just remember that you don't have a problem. You just haven't found your perfect fit. And I hope that I was able to give you a little clarity today in your personal journey. If you're at all interested in my 12-step survival program for my younger self called House Hackers Anonymous, feel free to check out my website, househackersanonymous.com. You'll find my 12-step book, my 12-step course, and you'll find a shop with a bunch of things that I like. And it's just my favorite things that I use with super fast delivery for US customers. Hope you enjoyed this video and see you in the next one.